All right, good evening, everybody. And see, even that stutter right there proves to you that I am the living proof that anyone can have a podcast, and everyone probably does. Tonight, you're stuck with me. I should have a couple of guests rumbling in, and that's because it is Hate Iowa Week, and I just can't keep that all to myself. John should be joining us, John Johnston, our editor in Grand Poobah at Corn Nation, and Aaron Rostowski, who knows plenty of football. And like myself, he likes to spend the spring doing the ball sports. He covers the men's baseball. I cover the women's softball. I think I get the better deal of that, but I'm sure that'd be an argument for perhaps later in the show. You never know. But yes, it is Hate Iowa Week. We'll give you your stats from last week. We'll kind of move through those if they're not here yet, and then I won't get interrupted too much. And then when we're here, we can just let the Iowa abuse flow and tell stories and drink drinks. I mean, it's the Husker Happy Hour, right? So let's be happy and be happy hour. Tell you what, let's just get going right away. I've got a few things I want to bring up, semi seriously while we're referring to what just utter shitbags Iowa is in general. I do have a few Iowa fans I like to call friends, and they aren't the bags of what. There's going to be so much name calling tonight. Why hold back during Thanksgiving and Hate Iowa Week? Hey, we're about to have to, some people will enjoy it. Some people will consider the Thanksgiving holiday that day they have to suffer through with family. Um, so we'll just make the best of it here tonight. Let's just get going before they roll. Let's see. Let's check some comments. I think we had an Iowa troll right out of the gate. I'm assuming this is the Sakfa. That I think that's Fred. Maybe he changed the name, but he got in there first. Said "suck at Iowa," and the Iowa trolls are even coming in now on the pregame. I don't go to any Iowa shows to see what's going on or being said there. I guess I can see it enough on Twitter. I just don't care. But somebody from Iowa had to pop in. 1-9. The last 10 games. We know you can't shut us up. Uh, you can't do it. So let's see. We have Husker Power, Go Big Red saying Iowa sucks corn the long way. Fred is our winner in at first. Let's see. Braska Rascal is in with Iowa still sucks. Agitides. Let's see. Didn't pop up there. There we go. Agatitis. I'm hoping I'm in the ballpark, but who cares? They say I'm here for Iowa Hate Week, and I'm not even a Iowa Hate Week, and I'm not even a Husker fan. I'm a Sooner. Well, did you notice that like the entire West Coast, I think, is just taken to dragging Iowa? At least Southern Cal and Oregon did. And that like Southern Cal and us somehow became buddies through all this, and then they were trolling Iowa with Nebraska, or the corn is better in Nebraska. There can only be one. There can only be one corn team in this conference, and it's Nebraska. Oregon jumped on it. That Oregon, like USC, lucked out. Iowa got to come to LA, but then Oregon had to go play at Iowa, and they beat them in the rain. And everybody acted like it was amazing that Oregon could beat Iowa in the rain. It's like, you people just think it's just one long sunny beach from Mexico to Canada. Yeah, Oregon knows a little bit about the rain. Let's see. Uh oh. Gary Pierce 7380. Oh no, we can't. I was a fine team. Let's all clap for them when they come onto the field, just like the old days. It's still those days, as far as I can tell. They're a worthy opponent, so we need to do our best to get up by 40 points or so. Okay, Gary, at least you're up for let's blow Iowa out of the stadium. Naturally, we've lost 9 out of 10, so we're going to settle for a win, and we're still gonna drizzle hate and just peppery spray all over them. So that's what we need to. We need to get a little meaner tonight, Gary. We can still clap on game day. This ain't game day, man. This is Iowa Hate Week. But yeah, we're Nebraska nice. Missed the Sooners versus Huskers Black Friday games. Yeah. You know what? It's They are now, I think, the least played Black Friday team. We'll get into that when we get down to the numbers. If we do, let's see. Yeah, Joel was saying, he missed the Sooners Huskers, and then age Agatitis. I'm going to go with that. Agatitis was saying, that as well. Much respect for Huskers and their fans. May not get it tonight. We're probably going to be the disrespectful Husker fans tonight. We just have to get it out of our system. What do we have here? Read out on Black Friday. I don't know. I haven't heard anything of that, and I'm certainly not in charge of it. You know what? I think we've had our fun with the colors. Let's just it's not going to be. It was funny because they were saying, hey, it could be 30s and windy, and Holgerson's talking about, if it's blowing 40 or 45, that'll affect the game, but it still won't be as bad as last year. And that's because I think it was getting down at to 10 in Iowa City. It was just freezing. You could tell that neither team liked it. And except for that one, and even with that one big screen pass to Caleb Johnson that he ran for 72 yards. That was damn near half their offense. That's what made last year so heartbreaking, was we dominated that game and in everything but get some points and don't give it away at the end of the game again. You just can't make that up. We outgained them something like 364 to 164, something like that. We more than doubled them up. We pushed them around on both sides of the line, and then the second half happened, and we just did our Nebraska shit. And we will find out if that finally goes away. Let's see. Yeah, James Boardman. Iowa's the oatmeal of college football. Boring and bland, but you know what you're getting. Yeah, well, boring and bland and mean and kind of racist at times and just shitty to be around. Oh, let's not go overboard yet. Let's see what Minnie is here. I should just tell Minnie to jump in because I think John and Aaron are going to be coming. So Minnie, if you want to pop in, go ahead. What do you got here? Husker Happy Hour and Iowa Hate Week. What could be better? Not much, man. Not much. I'll tell you what. Fuck, I might have to. I forgot to put my sailor out and my Coke out. Oh well, we'll just have to survive this one cold sober, and let me know if you can tell the difference. But yeah, Husker Happy Hour, Iowa Hate Week. It's wonderful, and I like to see that people are bouncing back. I kind of came on Monday with the energy of, look, we lost to Penn State. It sucks. There's no time. We need to get our minds right. If they can do it, we can do it. They did a good job coming back from Minnesota, so let's see if they can have another good bounce back. If you can't get up for the Iowa game, and it's not a team that's going to dominate you, they're just going to muck it up. They are going to punt it on 4th and 1. They're going to take some 3 and outs, just bang, 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 kick it away, don't care, turn it into a mucky game. And then, like they said, the theme you heard today in the press conference from players and coaches, they're just so comfortable in close games. They are the masters of, they're not going to do too much spectacular. They're just going to kick back and wait for you to make a mistake, knowing you're in a close game with Iowa that just seems to win a lot of these things. They just did it to Michigan State again. So, hey, they got a little practice winning a close one. Yay. Let's see. Yeah, Nebraska. Nebraska. I think it's 30-23, maybe with some ties sprinkled in. Yeah, great. You won 9 out of 10. I think you got to win another 7 in a row to catch up. So yeah. Oh, and we can talk about championships too, but they get so triggered at that when you mention that they haven't really won dick ever. Joel Tilson. It would be wonderful. I would not go betting the house on that. That's probably about a plus $2,800 prop for your $100 bet. Let's see. Huskers have to start turning the ball over to Iowa to win. It's not just turning the ball over to Iowa. The last 2 years, we've literally turned it over to them, I think, with 35 or 30 seconds or less. They get one big play to get in field goal range and kick a game winner. It's not as bad as Rule's first year and Iowa was the last of them. But we literally lost 3 games, not only on field goals as time expired, but by the same fucking score, 13-10. You've heard me talk about when my son and I were in Colorado, and found this funky bar that actually had it on because of, I think, Spectrum, or no, that was like DirecTV versus ESPN or something. And we found a place that had Spectrum, and they were playing. They had Jurassic Park trivia. Oh god, Drag Queen Jurassic Park trivia. It was a blast, and my son and I were watching the Minnesota game and watching that all fall to hell. Yeah, no turnovers at the end of the game. Oh my god. Oh jeez. And look at James Boardman. James, I think you've been spending too much time around Fred. Said, I saw an Iowa farmer fucking the sheep. And I said, in Nebraska, we shear our sheep. And he looked me dead in the eye and said, find your own. I don't shear her with anyone. Special teams win the Iowa game. There's a really good chance it'll win for somebody. We aren't coming into this game with the dominant special teams. These are two electric special teams, and they've got a guy named Caden Wetchen who it makes you just go Cooper DeJean who, and we'll talk about him. Let's see. Let's get going with the drive chart here. We'll just jump into that. I just like get the Nebraska drive chart out of the way. It wasn't the worst. We only had 1 3 and out, and that was the time where I wondered, and some people fought me on it, and that's fine because I'm doing the game tweets, and that's where I can let my emotions run over a little. Are the in-game tweets? I figure you're watching the game, you see plenty. You get all the color commentary and all that. So I'm not going to try and give you straight line stuff when I'm tweeting during the game. We're going to have a little fun. But yeah, I was kind of incensed because I'm like, pin back starting on your own. Was it the 9 or the 10, I think. Why are you suddenly going to TJ 3 straight times? Because I think he is like incomplete, sack for 7 yards, another incomplete, and we're punting from our own 3. So I was like, I don't think this is when you put it in the hands of the freshman quarterback. Guy's like, well, what's he supposed to do, simpleton? And I went, well, I think he's supposed to run some more Emmett Johnson. At that point, he only carried 10 times. He's not being used and abused yet. And it's like that his workload is still very light. I would think you'd want to do a lot of Emmett Johnson if you're on the 10-yard line. And I told him, I got snarky, and I said, but feel free to ignore the results and tell me I'm wrong. All right, let me get Aaron Rostovsky has arrived. Let me get him up on, as we call it, the stage. There he is. Aaron, how you doing, buddy? You're on, man.
Hang on, my audio is not working. Hello? A very merry fuck Iowa to you today.
Okay, I can hear you. Can you not hear me? Uh-oh, maybe Aaron can't hear me. I hear Aaron just fine here. Let's see. Well, Aaron, if you can hear me, keep playing with the audio. I can hear you. Hello? Anything? Huh. Well, Aaron, I can hear you, buddy. Let's see. Let me try somebody go to the comments and tell Aaron I can hear him fine. Nothing? Well, I'm going to keep rolling then.
Re-sign in here.
Okay. Go ahead. I heard that. No, I heard you. Let's see what else we got up here in the comments. We're saving the Iowa insults for the end. Want to give them time to get a dictionary. I'm just going to roll through the stats here. I'm going to try and do that fairly fast, and then you can go ahead and put them in. If you want to drop them in here and there, that's fine too. We got plenty of stuff. Kickoff return TD for the win. Well, I don't know. Kenneth Williams was not in the game Saturday, but I never saw him on the injury report. So, and they did, but I assume he's okay because his name didn't come up in the press conferences yesterday or today. We got a basketball score. James Boardman says it is Winthrop 36, Nebraska 32. And I believe if you read Nate McHugh's article yesterday, you would see that he told you look out for Winthrop. I can't remember all the specifics, but they have played some very good teams very close. So we can't lose to Winthrop, man. That cannot take down the nation's longest winning streak. So, okay, wait a minute. blaming me for him not hearing me. If you guys can hear me, Aaron should hear me. I don't think I don't think that's the problem this time. I have like all new equipment, but that's me. That's me in podcasting. I know sports, and I'm still learning this shit day by day. and I've gotten it to where I think that there's no more echoes and tinny responses. And it said with vacation week, it looks like not too many fans are there. He says PBA kind of looks empty. Vince, damn right, back-to-back crowns. But what we should do is get an NCAA bid and then refuse it. We should refuse an NCAA bid and go defend the crown. That would be funny. Now the abuse is rolling in. Fred's telling Aaron to get his shit together. And yeah, well, Aaron, if you're listening, fiddle around and see if you can get it back. Would love to have you. And I might text him here in a minute. Oh my God, I made Minnie laugh. I don't know what I said. You know me trying to get laughs. It's just it is the epitome of just start throwing everything against the wall and see what's gross enough to stick. All right. So stats, we did. Here's your drive charts. We go out. I lose my shit right away in the game. We drive it 7 times. We drive it 69 yards down to the 3-yard line. We go for it on 3rd and 1. What do? Up the middle, maybe a yard. 4th and 1, same thing, up the middle, maybe a yard. I think that's the 3rd time this year that we have been stopped going forward. If not on the 1 or the 2 every time, inside the 5, by just going, you know what, we're biggest, baddest on the block. And I mean, when Akron stops your tush push, and thank God they didn't do the tush push because that's just as ineffective, I think. Now, listening to Dana Holgerson today, he did try to, try to explain it, but he goes, what did we have? 3 3rd and 2s on that drive. And we gained about 58 of the 69 yards, gained 58 yards on him. So I was feeling pretty good about our ability to move him around. But on 3rd and 2, and all they have, I think, is tape of us not really doing anything interesting on these 4th and 1s. Like a counter. Yeah, I guess we kind of counter, but it's always a counter right up the gut. I always said that if we were ever like 3rd and 1 on the 23 and ran a naked boot, a fake handoff and a naked bootleg with Dylan, he could probably run to Douglas County before they caught him. They'd be so stunned. But no, we go in, blam, and right away, it's like you feel the air starting to come out already because everybody at this point saying this is a close game. If you've got nothing better in the chamber, then we're going to run it up the middle because we want to prove we can do it or whatever the thinking is. I'm probably being a little too snippety there. But shit, take 3 points. Take 3 points, and of course it ends up being a wipeout. It probably would have been anyway. But at the time, we don't know that. And I'm just like, here we are having left 3 to 7 points on the board, 7 by just jamming it in the gut, which has been repeatedly stopped in this situation. Or 3 just by, you know what, screw it. Let's take some points and not come away empty on the opening drive in a hostile stadium. Well, then they go 98 yards the other way, and you can just hear the whistling coming out of that balloon, and that there's just this fuck we're done feeling, and it didn't get better. Okay, I don't want to talk about their drives because I barked about that enough. Well, we get it back. We go 8 plays, 28 yards and punt. Get it back, 8 plays, 48 yards, kick the field goal this time. It's only 10-0. For God's sake, get on the board. And then we have the set of downs that I already complained about with let's just go to TJ Latif 3 straight times on our own 10 in hostile territory. That just goes absolutely terrible. And then we finish off turning it over on downs, or maybe that was just halftime. I won't call that after we go about 17 yards. And that time we do try to, for people that were like, hey, what else should we do? I'm like, well, besides run a guy who's leading the nation in total yards, not go to the freshman quarterback 3 times. I'm not saying don't let him do anything, but for God's sake, just don't ignore Emmett Johnson in that situation. And yeah, so then it's halftime. We come back. and we start they go down score right away. So if you didn't think it was over at 23-3, it's 30-3, and you realize this isn't gonna flip. Even the most, I think, positive people are out by then. We go 39 yards in 10 plays, turn it over on down. Then we have the 7-play 15-yard drive where Latif scrambles in for a touchdown. Very, very, very nice run. Then we go 52 yards and turn it over on downs, and then go 19 yards and turn it over on downs for one last time. I'm not really going to, because the 4 turnover on downs makes it sound like we were just out of our minds, but 3 of those, the game was pretty much over. So I'm not really going to harp on, oh, we couldn't do anything on 4th down. Only one mattered. It was the very first one, and we didn't make it happen. Let's see. And then let's skim through the PFS. Probably what you'd expect. Actually, probably not what you'd expect, at least for the top guys. The offense was about average. TJ got here's another reason I don't go with PFS. TJ had what I'd call an okay, because I'm not part of the he should replace Raiola right now crowd, but I think he's talented as hell. What I'd call a really ineffective performance. He ended up with, I think he was it 21-37 for 187 yards. That's not good. That's basically just making your passing game, your running game. And he only got to 37 attempts because he got to throw it a lot in the second half. At halftime, I think he had 55 yards passing, -3 yards rushing. So it's an ineffective performance. Now, while people who just think if he farts, beautifully on O Street, then Dylan Raiola should have to decommit. Now you're foaming at the mouth. Here's the plus, and I said it before. You go back and check stuff I wrote last week. I said this. I said TJ can have what looks like an inconsequential game statistically, but what I'm looking for is a guy who wasn't kind of out of it. When he came into USC, that was not a good showing, but you get thrown into that. That's a rough place to start. Now this time he's coming in with 3 weeks of working with the first unit, and I just wanted to see a guy who was composed, was disciplined, may not make a bunch of plays, but isn't losing the game for you. So TJ did not do anything to lose the game for us. There were plenty of others. I'm not going to point fingers. We all watched the game, but TJ. He was I thought he was composed. I saw maybe 2 throws where he got a little rattled or tried to force something he shouldn't. Neither were picked off. So that's usually fine for a seasoned quarterback. So I came out of there. What's the word I'm looking for? I came out of there enthused about his future prospects. True freshman. It was literally his first appearance in hostile territory ever. He got in, to the backups games against Akron and Houston Christian. His first game, it's a tough game, but he's still popping up in front of a very fired up home crowd in the blackout game against USC. Then, my God, for his first road game, could you script it better? Against a team whose home fans are disguised as empty seats mostly, and he's from there, so he's probably going to have more friends and family than UCLA at that game. Perfect. Now you're going 180 degrees from a UCLA road game to a night game in Penn State where they didn't sell it out. If you saw, they had some empty seats too, but it wasn't like UCLA where it's probably half 3/4 empty if Nebraska's not there to fill it up. So now he got to go to a pretty loud, hostile place, and I thought he stayed composed. He held his own, that sort of thing. So he grades 61.2. Emmett grades 60.3. That's where I bark about PFS a lot. It's like, how does Emmett get 153 total yards at running back in that game, but grade out worse than TJ? PFS, grain of salt. Dane Key, 63.8, leads the receivers. Lindenmeyer is the only one with over 15 snaps. That's the only ones I count for the tight ends. Heinrich doesn't get that many snaps. And let's see, and then who's that? Oh, Justin Evans then leads the offensive line with 70.6. All right, another guest has arrived, and let's see if we can get him on the stage. There's John Johnston. Can you hear me?
Yeah, does it work this time?
Yeah. Well, Aaron,
it's still echoing.
You're echoing? Yeah, I don't think that's a me deal anymore.
When I talk.
Yes,
What
because
the hell? What
hang
in
on.
the hell?
Well, you're not all of a sudden. Hold on here. Because now my sound is coming from the screen, so that might be it. Because I had the earbuds in. Let's see. Oh, now.
Okay,
How about
I'll just start talking.
go ahead?
So, how's
Fire away.
everybody? What's everybody? What's going on? I was just watching. I was watching Texas versus Kentucky in the SEC volleyball championship.
Yes.
Because my wife likes volleyball and I like my wife, so you know.
That's good.
Texas won the first two sets, and now they've lost the next two sets. And Kentucky, they're in the fifth set, and Kentucky's ahead 4-3. And you know, one of the things I enjoy about life is watching Texas lose.
Don't we all?
I don't give a damn what sport it is. It's just could Texas lose?
I tell you what, little gave me more joy. What? Are you giving me the claw?
That's it looks like Fred's saying that. John Von Rasky in the robe with the robe. Yeah, I got the robe.
Okay. Yeah, it's like as these people know, because I've probably brought it up enough. You know, I grew up a Georgia fan, and now I've got a step cousin starting at quarterback for Georgia, Gunnar Stockton, who's doing quite well. So watching him light the shit up out of Texas was just one of the best nights ever. In college football, probably in a long time, probably since they won the titles in 21 and 22. Yeah, he threw for 4 touchdowns, ran for another. Texas was never really truly in that game. I think their only touchdown drive was like 30-something yards. And and especially at the beginning of the year when here comes Gunnar in with experience against Texas in the SEC title game, and then the CFP had a pretty decent game against Notre Dame, and Paul Feinbaum is like, well, Gunnar Stockton has no experience. Georgia's going to be in trouble, but Arch Manning, my God, Heisman's coming. Texas will play for the national title, and just watching Paul Feinbaum eat that monster pile of shit, then head to head, just made me so happy.
He does that a lot.
He does.
Yeah, he's made a career at eating shit.
Yeah, it's just, you know, because he kept like riding the Alabama train after that run was over with. He just keeps going and going with it.
So, you know, the other thing I got caught up in when my wife was sitting next to I was watching volleyball. But I spend an inordinate amount of time on YouTube. I'm working hard on my history videos. And I just happened to come across this video that was a cut of a movie.
Yeah.
Maybe you know this. When the Hansons Take the Ice.
Hell yeah. Slap shot, baby. Are you kidding me? I could probably recite that movie. It is fantastic. Go ahead.
And that's why I was a little delayed. I was waiting for the fourth set to be won by Kentucky, and I was watching the Hansons beat the shit out of everybody.
Oh God, that's wonderful. Yeah.
So I'm ready to go. What's going on? I've hardly talked to anybody this whole season.
Well, what I'm doing right now is I was just running through some of the stats before we could get into true Iowa hate. I just finished up the PFFs for the offense. There's only 3 for the defense. So Keona was at 59.2. Marcus Watson-Trent, he didn't play a lot of snaps, but enough to get on the board. He was at 67.2. Vincent Shavers was at 59.2, but I only bring him up because Shavers played 50 snaps and no other linebacker played more than 29, and that was Javen Wright. And then Deshaun, 74.6. I think they gave him 20 points just for destroying Allen's helmet on that one hit.
That was bizarre. I've never seen that happen.
I mean, he was wobbly on the sideline, and that helmet just flat out got shattered. I mean, that they were probably like, we need another helmet. What did you think of that hit? I thought, I mean, that was like.
Well, the living with the brain injury, I thought that guy's he's going to be with us a few more years, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's like something you'd expect to happen to Scadaboo, since he's always sticking his, like ramming his head into brick walls and just leading with it and all that.
You're reviewing Penn State?
That was just doing the PFF grades for the Huskers, and Deshaun came up last, so he's the one who hit him. So here quickly, the stats. I already gave you TJ's stats. Passing, he was rushing. When you adjust it to take out the sacks, he had 7 carries for 31 yards. He did have that nice scamper for the touchdown. Emmett Johnson didn't do anything to take himself off watch lists. He was had 19 carries, 103 yards, 5.4 average, and then also had 8 receptions for 48 yards. So another 153 total yards for him. And Ja'Cory Barney, who'd been gone, kind of disappeared from the stat sheets for a while after having a couple of monster, like 100+ yard receiving games. They said, I think in the last 5 games, he only had something like 49 yards total receiving. Well, he had 5 catches for 55 yards to lead the receivers, and then his long was a 30. And that was it. You know, that was basically it for the Huskers. So now we get to Iowa. And one thing about Iowa is they're so much more dangerous offensively this year. And you know what? No, they're not. Offensively, they are still shit. They are 120th in the country in total offense.
Right.
But they are 69th in average points per game. They're up to 27 points per game. Well,
where are they at in rushing?
And rushing, nothing big. Their leading rusher is Kamari Moulton. He's got 690 yards, averages 5 yards a carry, only 2 touchdowns. The guy who's dangerous is Gronowski. He's got 91 carries for 509 yards, so he's at like 5.6 per carry. And then so he's not that far behind Moulton really. But you get inside the 10, I'm betting just put everybody on Gronowski. He has scored 13 touchdowns rushing this year. Nobody else, I think, has more than 2 or 3. So he's their guy. There shouldn't be any getting fooled by Gronowski at this point. But still, yards wise, 120. But to get to that, I think you were talking about in your article today that Caden Wetchen, their star returner, he's got 19 punt returns and he averages 28.3 yards a return, and he has 3 touchdowns, and one of them was 95 yards. He took it on the 5.
We shouldn't allow the ball to get anywhere near him.
No, but the funny thing about that is still sort of that haircut. Bringing Rostovsky back. We'll see if he can hear me this time.
Loud and clear.
You there? Hey, Aaron.
I'm here. Howdy.
What's up, Chipbag?
Woohoo!
Hola. I can hear. It's a miracle.
All right. But anyway, to finish that thought, now Wetchen also averages 29.7 on kickoff returns and has returned one of those for a touchdown.
Yeah.
And the thing is, and Rule brought this up before the Minnesota game, is he was talking about how special teams still affected that game because they wouldn't kick to Barney. So all their punts were relatively short because you're giving up a lot of yards to kick it out of bounds and away from him. And you're probably just getting like 35 to 40 yard net punts. And so, but you've got to sacrifice that. You're right. We can't kick the Wetchen.
No.
And
Michigan State did this. Did you watch that game? I watched that game.
I did not. I heard about it.
I watched like the last court. You can listen. I don't know if you ever watched the show Portlandia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could only watch like one episode of that. There's no, if you went to 2 episodes, it's just started making your mind all mental and fucked up. I mean, literally. So what I do when I'm watching Iowa football is I watch like 5 to 10 minutes at a time, because if you watch more than that, you become angry about everything. You want to kick puppies and, spit on cats and shit like that.
Well, here's the thing. What Michigan State did shouldn't come as a shock at all to us, because they did the same fucking thing to us. Because they've got that guy who can absolutely bomb it. Remember, he was bombing it into like that 25-mile-an-hour wind, 52 yards. But here's the thing. He bombs it so far, and he doesn't, that's one reason, like, we're leading in punt return coverage, is Archie will sit there and do that rugby thing. He will jog with it for a little while. And, you give these guys another 2 seconds to get down there. That's another 10, 15, 20 yards, depending on their speed. Yep. And you've just taken away. But here's the thing. We all make fun of our buddies that date good-looking women. It outkicks his coverage. Michigan State literally outkicks their coverage. He just bombs it away. And against us, Barney was getting it with nobody within 20 yards of him, and having you let him get some steam upfield. I can just imagine what a field day that was for for wedging. It's like
when is Archie Miller going to take off running?
I don't know.
Seriously.
If you've been saving it, this is the game.
I mean, I know that he's still learning American football, right? But at some point, that's why you have a rugby punter, an Australian guy or whatever. I can't remember which one he is. Is rugby union or Australian
he's Australian rules.
Okay, Australian rules football.
He was on
at some point they gotta, he's gotta just make it so that oh God, now we have to worry about this threat.
Yeah. Well,
maybe he's not that insane. I don't know.
Quick sidebar on Archie. He got the late hit penalty there.
Yeah.
If you watch, you see it like he actually looks like he's starting to pull up, and he's watching the returner, and the Penn State guy kind of lowers the shoulder like he's going to go bump Archie, and that's when Archie just then fuck you and sent the guy flying, and I'm like, it's not really late hit. This is the instigator, but I know they have to throw the flags,
right?
But yeah, I was like, you know what, this game's over, and that we finally hit somebody, so good for us. I would like on you there, Archie. Good on you, mate.
I would like to see it against Iowa.
I would too.
I want. You know what? The Matt Rule he says this: if we die stuff. I want him to just like the Hansons taking the ice. Come here. Go for stuff, throw the ball 45 yards in the air.
I wish I had it within reach. I have met the Hanson brothers. We went to a Lancer game years ago, and the Hanson brothers were doing this Bud Ice Hanson thing where they'd go to games, skate around a little at halftime, wave to everybody, and then they went to the pipeline across the street after the game, and I walk in and I see this Bud poster for him up. So I just steal the thing and I take it up and they all sign it and we took pictures with them. These are huge friggin' guys. And also, if you watch the movie carefully, they were damn good hockey players. One of them made the WHA and skated on a line with Gordie Howe, and he was playing with his son when he was 50. But yeah, these are big guys, and there's not much acting in that role. Let's say they are just the funniest, goofiest dudes. And one of them ended up as the athletic director at Robert Morris for like several years and did an interview from there. And he was the athletic director there when Miley's team played Robert Morris in hockey a couple of times and creamed him. I was always looking, come on, man, make the trip to Fremont, Nebraska. but anyway, I sidebarred into Archie and we ended up on Slapshot again. You're gonna be sorry you brought that up, John. Real quick, let me get through the stats because I just want to be done with them, and then I'm gonna open it up to you guys and start checking comments here. Like Gronowski, he's 141 at 224. He's only thrown for 1,363 yards, so he's like 120 yards a game or something. That
just
it's
barely
even less
more than
of a
me.
pass game than they normally have. He has 7 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. You can't imagine he's going to put it in the air more than 15 times against us. But like I said, he's run for 509 yards when you take out the sack yardage, and so he's very much part of their running game, which has to drive Kirk Ferentz absolutely nuts, letting a quarterback run.
He has the uncanny ability to suddenly become good when they need him to be good.
Oh, against Oregon.
Well, I mean, just suddenly out of nowhere. I mean, Brett Favre, when you're a Packers fan, you'd always comment, are we going to get the good Brett Favre or the bad Brett Favre today? And this Gronkowski guy, he looks like a guy that the ball sails on him, it goes all over the place. And then all of a sudden, when they need a touchdown, he's like, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, bam, 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 bam. And you're like, what the hell? Is this the part where you're sacrificing your soul to the devil, you bastard?
Aaron, have you had a chance to watch him yet?
Oh, very briefly. I try to stay as far away from watching Iowa football as I can.
It's
tough.
It's great, tough. Man. It's great.
It's not. It's tough. It's like if you like watching ice freeze on your windshield, it's awesome.
They played football the old way, the hard knocking and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I wanted to watch Outside Zone for 4 hours straight, I don't know what I do. Something stupid.
Yeah. Hey, I was going to say who that was it? That Michigan State game looked like just what you wanted. What was the final of that one? Like 20-17.
20-17. Yeah.
Again, someone fucks it up at the end. That was one thing that they emphasized, like both the coordinators and the players. A couple of the players today was how being that winning close games and being calm in close games is like Iowa's superpower. And,
Yeah.
And now punt returning and kick returning. Because when I started talking about like the offense is still garbage, but now they're getting 26-7 points a game. I think it's just a lot of that may just be, they're not starting from the 20. The only way they're starting from the 25 on kickoffs is if they kick it out. And I don't know if, they can always do it. The other teams, but I guess he's only returned. How many? They've only let him return 12, so they're not letting him do it. But a lot of that's just him, and then especially on the punt returns, between short punts and him averaging 28 yards a return, 30-yard return's a damn fine return. He's averaging that, but they're just going from different field position too sometimes.
Kentucky beat Texas.
Oh, did they?
Yes, 3-2. So there you go. Texas doesn't get an SEC championship of volleyball either in the regular season. I think this is the first time in 20 years the SEC played a volleyball. So there you go.
Well, there you have it.
I can be happy that my wife would be happy that Texas lost. That's why I like my wife.
And a little while ago, we got an update that Winthrop was beating us 36-32 at halftime. But I was saying too that Nate McHugh tried to warn him yesterday in his preview that they'd played some good teams really tight, and so don't be surprised if this one got scary. Let's see. So then I think that's it for the I didn't even bother copying down receiver stats. They've got like 6 guys between 12 and 20 receptions on the year. There's nothing to talk about there. One of them might crush us at the end. We'll be like Oregon and let Gronowski hit somebody for 50 yards in the middle of the field. What were you about to say there, Aaron?
I said they even have 6 receivers on that team. What's the point?
Well, I
they
guess
throw the ball. They throw the ball. You know what? What is their run pass ratio? It's got to be better than, what I mean. They throw the ball more than they used to.
Dude, they're averaging 100. Like what's 13 divided by or 1,300 divided by 11? They're barely averaging 100 yards a game passing. This is worse.
Yeah, but I said they throw the ball more. I didn't say they made more yards.
Okay,
they call passing plays.
Yeah, they've had
they call passing
attempts. Plays. So they're averaging 20 attempts a game. So I don't think that's really
okay. Go back to 2022. What did they do? 1, 2.
You go back to 2022, bastard. I'm not your stat boy, Papu.
God,
what the hell?
Do you prepare for this show? What are you doing?
I say they threw it more. Prove me wrong.
Yes, sir, Mr. John.
There you go. Let's see. Tell you what. You look for that, and I'm going to start coming in on the comments. Wait, already read James Boardman's joke about an Iowa farmer screwing his sheep. What else we got? We had Minnie in here for a while. I don't know if we ran her off.
She says,
"Yep, that Sacco." We were talking about like that first drive because I just went absolutely batshit when we just crammed it into the line again on fourth and goal on the one. Because my thing is, if you're not going to show any creativity whatsoever, and this is like the 3rd or 4th time it was stuffed this year inside the 5 to kill a long drive, then just kick the field goal. There's nothing wrong with 3 points in a visiting stadium to quiet them down a little. But here's what Fred said. Didn't score on that first drive. You knew PSU would drive the length of the field to score, and then the game was already over. And that's kind of the feeling I had, was like, okay, I hope that we get it right back and do something here. And then we went like 28 yards and punted. At least we didn't go 3 and out, I guess. But then they go 84 yards and kick a field goal. Then they go 75 yards for a touchdown. And then they only went 14 yards for a touchdown because that was after Archie blasted the guy out of bounds, and they started on our 14. And then they think 5 scored on their first 5 drives, 4 for touchdowns. I felt just the air go out of the sails right there when we come with 0 points and they go 98 yards with like a 50-yard run stuck in the middle of it. I guess at least we didn't let him go all the way, but now
It seems like with that first drive, we were trying to get our Heisman stats up a bit with EJ instead of actually trying to figure out the best way to score.
Yeah, maybe, but they were doing that at the beginning of the year. They did it against Akron. Like, at least they did. I didn't want to see a dive. I didn't want to see the tush push, just a bootleg, a counter, anything. But for God's sake, quit trying to run it in behind the fullback. It's just not been there. Well, like I said, Holgerson said, well, hey, we went for it on 3rd and 2, short yardage. 3 times we get 58 yards. So I felt like we've got some control in these short yardage situations. But it's like, but you're not on the goal line with your fullback and everybody packed in there. You're still running that out of your normal, some sort of normal set. And then I see him line up. I'm like, here we go. And fuck. Because against Michigan, we drove down the field, I think, and turned it over on downs to start the game.
Okay. At the next press conference you go to with Dana Holgerson, I want you to just ask Blake if you're being held hostage by Matt Rule.
Yeah, that'd be a fair question. I had a friend. I was actually going to talk about all my friends with all this courage for me to go up and ask something that's actually a stupid question where you're just the guy trying to piss everyone off. And today's suggestion was, hey, seriously, don't puss out this time. Go up and ask Matt Rule. And this was yesterday. He goes, did you ask Matt Rule why our defensive linemen are so weak? And I'm like, okay, and that's going to accomplish what? He's going to, it's like, he's going to rightly say, I don't know what the fuck's going on in the weight room. And I don't, And I'm like, and my problem has been, and I said it from day one, and I wasn't alone. I didn't make this up, but boy, are we when you're undersized by Cincinnati's Big 12 line, you've got a size issue. Yeah. We did not properly account for losing Nash Hutmacher and Ty Robinson. Yeah. We went from a defensive line you couldn't move to a defensive line where we got one guy in the depth chart who's over 300. Yeah. And here's what we have. And let me bring this up because this is one of the things I wanted to ask you guys about is we've only got 9 or 10 guys in this recruiting class. And the message that sends to me is that we are going to be hitting the portal hard because we have a super young team this year.
Right.
And so I think the portal is more important than the recruiting classes. I think they're both, if you try to do it without one or the other, like Dion tries to do it all portal and look where that got him. And then I think it was Dabo trying to do it all recruiting classes because he doesn't believe in the portal. And look where that's just got him in a fall. It doesn't help either when you're just nonstop yammering about how the players shouldn't get paid and he should, the old transfer rules could come back. I'm sure that really helps in recruiting. But what we do have is we've got a bunch of guys who are freshmen and sophomores,
right?
Who in 25 to 30 pounds are going to be killers, right? But we didn't really have a bridge to them. And I just wrote down Lefotu's already 300, just a sophomore, and I think he got in there a little bit this year. But you have like Mason Goldman that I don't think you got in much, but last year's guys talked about him a bunch. He's a redshirt freshman this year, maybe. He's only 270. Maverick Noonan's only 245. He was getting some playing time. Keona's only 275, and that was getting him. That's the guy
that has to stay, and we need to put 25 pounds on him.
Exactly, and we will. Is he just a redshirt freshman or is he a sophomore? I didn't know if he gotten enough games last year, but he's one of those. And then you got Tyson Terry, who came out of Omaha North 310, but basically sat out this year, I think, just making sure on the knee. And let's see, who's Gabe Moore's at 290. Somebody who I just scribbled so bad I can't read my own writing. But then the big one, a guy who shouldn't have been, hopefully they didn't burn his red shirt this year, but I bet they did, is he's sitting there at 265, Cade Petchak.
Oh, that guy, yeah.
He's a beast, but man, he's 265. It's like that guy. Now that's a guy who if we redshirt him this year, his sophomore year, he'll probably be at like 305.
How many pounds can you put on a guy in a year?
25 to 30, I would say. They did. I mean, they had to get Juergens up from like 215.
Really?
Yeah.
So here's the thing: if they can't go to the portal. Okay. Matt Rule, after he signed his extension, did this thing where he indicated that NIL, that they'll have enough money to buy everything, right? Okay,
That was his fighting point.
This assumes that the market hasn't shifted. You know, that all of a sudden everybody else has got $15 more million and everybody will be buying the same fucking things. Everybody will be buying offensive linemen and defensive linemen because you have to have those, and they, you know what, they're hard to find.
Yeah,
so
this is true.
This idea that, oh, we're just going to be fine with money assumes last year's prices. It doesn't assume this next year's prices. So the problem I have with how they're doing their stuff on the lines is they have to develop these players.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to keep up with Ohio State or Oregon or, you know, Indiana has Mark Cuban on their side. You know, we need AI bros on our side. That's what we need. The hell with Warren Buffett and his value investing shit. We need AI bros. That's what we need to be courting. Bring AI bros into Nebraska. They're all going to be billionaires in about a year. And then say, hey, do you like football? We'll teach you what football is. You know what I mean?
That's your selling point.
Do you do sports balling? We could have fun at sports balling and then, you know, show the AI bros what sports ball is about.
Well, two things. First of all, I really hope you're not the one making the pitch by just going, hey, y'all like football? You know?
Hey, I can talk. Claude Opus 4.5 just came out. See, I can do AI bro stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, but you're not wrong. But what I'm not talking about.
You're the missing link.
I'm not talking about we go out, you know, with our 9 guys, because I figure it wouldn't surprise me if we're looking for like 15 or so guys out of the portal this time around. But they're not all going to be on the line. I mean, that's going to be spread around a little. But I think they're going to be. That was part of the thing is we need a bridge to these guys that I just read off, because it sounds like, I mean, watching Petchak play, I mean, we're developing him great. You know, but he needs the weight.
Yes.
And John Butler today, I love John Butler and Holgerson because neither one of them really have a filter. All these people are like, they always think like Matt Rule is lying to them. I'm like, if Matt Rule is anything, he's the other way. He'll if he can, he'll tell you what's on its mind, unless it's not his story to tell. You know, like when who was it? The defensive backs coach quit. They're like, why'd he quit? And he goes, ask him. You know, we're fine, but that's not for me to tell. If you want to know, he has to be the one to tell you. So he's usually pretty straight. All the Penn State stuff, it turned out, no, it's like he wasn't playing games. He was being really honest. He does like Lincoln and want to stay here, and he didn't take the raise. He got some nice bonuses if he gets into the CFP. But anyway, that's Holgerson and Butler. And Butler today just flat out started saying stuff like, no, here's the thing, is the most important thing we got to do is improve the roster. You know, wow. You know, you're worried about what your players might think? Because he said flat out, he goes, football is a big man's game. And he was just going, he basically, it was like before that Cincinnati game, you know, early in the year where people were breaking tackles left and right, like really breaking tackles left and right. And before that first game, he said, well, you know, we're still working on tackling. Like he was telling you right there, we got a tackling problem.
What were they doing last year? I know they brought in 83 receivers and 28 defensive backs.
Last year in the portal, they brought in a bunch of D linemen, and they didn't really have the money to pony up.
Yeah,
they wanted to spend more on the offensive line initially, and then they just started losing out on the defensive guys. Like we were up there with the top, like we matched Oregon with World. But he just wanted to go there because he thought he had a chance at the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And he spent the money on Pritchett and then again with Rocco. And I think that's where we didn't want enough. We thought the way we stopped the run last year, we were good enough to not go full bore and go all in on defensive linemen, I think. And so
you know what?
More on O-line.
I saw an interesting chart and I tweeted it like right before the show, because it came out different than I thought it would be. And what they had was a big chart, and the bottom line was offensive yard push, like yards before touch. And then the other one was yards after touch. And it turned out our offensive line is like we were way high up on the yards before touch. And then Emmett was decent, but you know, just kind of average.
What the hell does that mean? Yards before? This sounds like
before they put hands on him.
Oh, this
like our offensive line is giving him one of the best pushes in the country. Yeah, our offensive line's giving him one of the best pushes in the country.
Really?
Yeah, right. That's what I could like. Really?
Yeah, we're doing okay run blocking.
Yeah, they had. We've been, and they talk especially about our interior line manhandling a few teams this year. But that's another thing. Now we're losing Lutovsky and Spindler, and so I hope we've got some guys. There wasn't
There wasn't a lot of bright spots at Penn State, but that big run that Emmett had,
yeah,
Spindler took out 3 guys all by himself. That was crazy.
Oh, I love Rocco. I remember when
he's a senior. He's gone this year, isn't he?
Yeah, he and Lutovsky are both gone, and we're gonna miss both of them. But no, I agree with what you're saying. But the fact is, we kind of need a bridge to these guys, or can we get enough of them up to weights next year? It'll be interesting. We've got a lot of young talent. That's why I say, when I say we're going to the portal big this year, I'm not saying that's the plan, should be the plan every year. No, because the 27 class is already, I think, twice the size of the 26 class.
Right.
So I think that's just, I just think that's a plan in place to make the team a little older next year, because don't we have like sophomores and younger, like 65, 70 guys or something out of like the top 100. It's a young team. But
80 guys of what was thought to be the 105 before the season, where sophomores are younger.
Yeah. Oh, here it is. Winthrop lost only by 1 to a pretty good Arkansas team earlier. So we'll see what we hear on that one. Yeah, I was talking before you guys got in how maybe right as John got here about how I'd said before the game, like go back and read where I said TJ Lateef doesn't have to have a big numbers night. He could have a really not great numbers night and, not really do anything to win the game. But as long as he stays composed, disciplined, doesn't play freaked out, and I didn't think he did. And then Holgerson kind of backed that up to date. He goes, he was composed the whole time. He never had a look in his face like, he's freaking out or the moment's too big for him. So he ran through everything, did what he should. And I said, he had what was kind of an ineffective night, but he didn't. It's like I didn't care. I saw a true freshman stay composed in the first even close to hostile environment he played in. So I like that. What else am I going to say here? Oh, I think I covered 2 big points. Let's see. Keep checking out some. Oh God, somebody said, "Hey, are we going to get maybe we get Tony White back?" One guy in comments on something I think what I wrote Monday said that giving up over 400 yards is ridiculous, and I'm doing a good job of not engaging stuff this year except for fun stuff. And I'm like, this is the first game we've given up over 400 yards all year with that line. So I'm pretty happy with John Butler this year. What do you guys think?
I think he has the makings of a good defensive coordinator. It really bothered. Here's what Iowa's going to do to us. I think, Aaron, you mentioned that outside zone thing. They're going to run that until we over pursue it, and then they're going to run one counter, and it's going to go for 60 yards. We have not stopped or figured out how to stop counter plays. We're the shit. And that part bothers me because that's not we're not big enough stuff. That's we're not there to do those plays, stop those plays. I still think he just doesn't. He's missing things.
Yeah.
Like this last week, he made some adjustments to try to put more on effort in the run, and then we had zones the size of fucking Kansas counties that were wide open. They're just right. I mean, when Penn State caught the ball, there was nobody within 5 to 10 yards of them.
Yeah,
and I know that you when you make adjustments, you got young players. They have to follow your adjustments, stuff like that. I do think John Butler has the makings of a guy that. Okay. I think John Butler has the makings of a guy that can be a good defensive coordinator. But having said that, why did we hire a guy who's learning on the job?
Well, he had been a defensive coordinator before one year at
right.
Penn State.
Yeah.
And then got plucked. I think was that where he got plucked from the NFL after that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the NFL liked what they saw. I don't know.
With regards to Tony White, Tony White didn't want to be in Nebraska. It's not anything to do with Nebraska's football team. His wife wanted to get the hell out of Nebraska. And if you're not making your wife happy, you're not going to have a happy life anyway. So,
and
Tony White isn't coming back.
He really wanted to get out of Nebraska after Phil Snow arrived in Nebraska.
Exactly. He didn't like Phil Snow coming in at all.
He took that as an over the shoulder type of thing, and I don't really think it was that because I think Butler's. Well, I haven't seen him after Penn State. I think Butler's actual numbers might be a little better than Tony White's this year. Like just overall, they sure are in pass coverage. I'm sure they're not near as good in rushing, but I think overall, I know we were up to like 12th in total defense at one point. But I know we'll see. He's comparable.
White was terrible, if I remember right, in the red zone.
In the red zone,
wasn't he, Aaron?
Well, we didn't give up the rushing TD for whatever many games straight.
Well, that's true. That's a good point.
But yeah, that's what I think. I was pretty happy with Butler. Butler, if there's one thing, is Butler is a football nerd, and a lot of the players talk about that. And I think sometimes, like against Michigan, he was like trying all these looks and blitzes like crazy. And man, you just got to line up and stop him and not. And when he did, we kind of did at least control the run late in the game. I mean, we were down like 10 already, but yeah, and he was running the blitzes like crazy again. But here's one thing he said, though, that I couldn't argue with. Well, the first thing he said was, they're like, so I think Sam or somebody just asked. I didn't go today, but I was watching it. Just asked him something like, so, I mean, what went wrong? He's like, let's not beat around the bush. What do you think went wrong? He goes, well, I think we got our asses kicked.
Yeah.
And that's just like every headline today. But, he's one. He is. He's one of those guys. He's straight up with. And he goes, I'm trying blitzes. I'm trying not blitzes. I'm trying 3-man lines, 4-man lines, 5-man lines, and he goes, and they just had an answer for everything, and he goes, and they just pushed us around, and how funny that after that game he just came straight with, hey, we got to go in the portal and get some big guys, and it's probably kind of been eating him a little all year. Wouldn't you be in your room, because you can never do it at a prep, be in your room going like, I got defensive ends that are I got in one year, yeah, he might be an All-American in a few years, but he's 6'7", 245 right now, which looks really skinny in football.
Can I put a comment up?
Go.
Okay. Comment. We missed pot roast.
Yeah.
I agree with this.
Yeah.
I think a big problem. I think our big problem that we're gonna. I think it's unfair to judge our current. Who's our defensive line coach?
Terry Brad. Love him.
Okay, I think it's unfair to judge him on this season by himself because he doesn't have Ty and Nash. Yep. He doesn't have the guys like that. But I think pot roast. I think it was a good defensive line coach. What we need to find out next year is if Donovan Raiola, number one, is going to stay. I don't think he should stay because I don't think he can develop people worth of crap. And then the defensive line, are they going to be able to develop guys on the lines? Because if they can't, they need to go. And that's going to be a big key to success.
I think two guys who haven't they been with us like the whole time? Has Evans been with us the whole time? I thought he had. Evans and Justin Evans, the center, because he's trucking people now. Henry Lutovsky, the last 2 years has been solid. And for a guy that didn't develop anybody, he developed the swinging gate Bryce Benhart into a honorable mention All Big Ten lineman. Who was newly before.
So are you standing up for Donovan Raiola? Is that what I'm hearing?
I just don't. I think it'd be really weird. And by the way, I think it's an email they want to retract because the Huskers extra or whatever is like, Emmett Johnson's a Doak Walker finalist. And it was like, no, he's not. He's not one of the three. Sorry, that's weird you'd send that out. But you got a guy, though, who's leading, one of the leading, I think he's still fourth or fifth in the country in rushing, but the offensive line coach isn't good enough. Now, yeah, we had pass protection issues, and I think they sacked Latif 3 times. But before that, so now that's 5 sacks in 4 games. So I call that an improvement as the season goes along. To to go back to the horror of the Minnesota game with the 9 sacks. Yeah. And I think even then they put 2 or 3 of those on Raiola and 2 more on Emmett Johnson there. So that wasn't as much the offensive line's fault. I just remember
you are standing up for Donovan Raiola.
Yeah, I am. I think every year that line has been better at the end of the year than the beginning.
Yeah, well, we need him to be better at the beginning, not what I mean.
That's true. Well, that's
with the portal now.
Well, that goes back to my buddy wanted me to hang myself in the room on Monday. It was like, is there a strength and conditioning? And I'm thinking like, well, I watched the offensive line, and I don't think so. I think those guys are pretty big and strong, especially now that you look at the average push that they get Emmett Johnson. And here's the defensive line undersized. It's like, I don't think that's Corey Campbell's fault that he can't make a 265-pound defensive end bench 315-pound one would. Because what did they say? I mean, Penn State, I think, had a huge line. Like, they had like a couple guys out there like 320, 330.
Right.
So that's like the time. What I was going to say was the Minnesota play I couldn't get out of my mind was where they missed a block and the middle linebacker just came at a full sprint and blasted Emmett Johnson. So a 250-pound guy blasts a 205-pound guy standing there when he's coming at full speed and fucking launches him into the quarterback. I'm like, I'm not holding that against Emmett Johnson, man. That's just physics. Guy did that to me. You just hear the announcer going, "Oh, geez, I don't think he's getting up. He needs help." So yeah, I guess
okay.
The way the season's ending, it's not a fire Donovan Raiola thing for me anymore.
Well, somebody has to be fired because I'm unhappy.
What are you, Harvey Keitel and National Treasure? Somebody's got to go.
He's making my computer shake so much he's banging the table.
Listen, I realize that all of the tackles I've seen that play for Nebraska right now can't move their feet for shit.
Yeah,
and you can't coach that. You can't make a guy. Well, maybe you can make a guy a little bit more athletic, but you can't turn a guy into Ndamukong Suh who can use his feet. That's what made Ndamukong Suh so special. Is he can move.
We get these fellows in soccer in 7th grade like Ndamukong Suh, and then
I think they should be.
And I'd say it's like, I always think it's weird. It's like, but God, get these guys into soccer, get them into a ballet class, or get them into wrestling, for crying out loud.
Minnie's over here supporting all the Raiolas. She's got to be on the payroll.
Oh,
oops! What am I doing? I didn't even know what I'm doing.
Well, now you're like an enemy of the state if you don't consider the Raiolas like the bane of Nebraska. It's just the weirdest thing.
Well, somebody has to be held responsible for,
right.
If you have unanswered prayers, somebody has to be, there's
and I'm still convinced.
That kind of shit. Throw them off the ship. They're causing storms.
I think a lot of that's just like I figured out because I'm like, well, I can't believe that they're just hating on Dylan because the way he cut his hair since 5th grade, it bothers them because it's Mahomes and all that. But
I'm not touching Dylan.
No, here's the thing with those with that is the Chiefs are developing like they're like kind of the hated team of the NFL right now. It's like they could just kind of doubles down back to him by connecting him to Raiola because like what? So you're talking about wanting to run a guy off who's like 6th, 5th in the country in completion percentage, just threw for 2,000 yards in 8.5 games with an 18-6 TD interception ratio, and people are trying to sell that he's everything that's wrong with us. And I don't know. He would have been, we were 7-2 going into Southern Cal. I think we're 8-2 if he stays in that game, given how he plays in the 4th quarter, which is lights out. And they're like, yeah, we need to get rid of this guy. He's a problem. Like, well, wait, have you seen the quarterbacks we've had for the past? I guess go back to Crouch. Yeah, don't everybody argue with me at once. But to me, that's just one of the weirdest things. Is they're like, oh, and the whole Raiola. It's either the Raiola family's cutting ties with Nebraska, and the opposite, or Nebraska's cutting ties with the Raiolas. And I asked somebody, does that mean they have to weld Dominic's name off the stadium? Or like, what are you talking about?
You realize we're basically the same human beings that had witch hunt trials at one point in human history, right? It's not that far to go from there to here.
And the same human beings that always think that backup quarterback is the best guy you got. And why are you?
Well, he might be. TJ Latif's looking good to me.
Well, lest we recall the Breon Carnes is better than Taylor Martinez arguments back in the day. No, there's nothing wrong with TJ Latif, but
he's a great backup quarterback.
Oh my God. Oh.
I think he's going to be great, though. I think he's I think he's half the reason Dayton Raiola decommitted is he just doesn't see a path to playing time with TJ getting starting experience and a top 5 quarterback coming in right behind him.
Remember 2 weeks ago when everyone thought we were set for like the next 4 years and
We still are.
We were gonna spend like $5 million on quarterbacks between Dylan and TJ. And now we're never gonna win another game again.
I do love some of the I do love some of the NIL estimates that people claim to know, because somebody put one up that somebody else like retweeted going, are we all just losing our damn minds? Because it didn't even make sense mathematically beyond the money amount. Because he said, I just got it on very good authority, because they always do, that Dylan Raiola has just signed a 4-year NIL extension for $20 million a year. And I'm like,
Somebody said that?
Yeah. And it was like, well, let's get beyond how stupid that money is, first of all. Like, and then look at the fact that, one, he's only got 2 years left of eligibility. And 2, you can't sign multi-year NIL deals. You can just sign 1-year deals, and they can take that back if you don't go sign the shit or advertise the shit or whatever.
So you guys are both, you're still sold on Dylan.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. And I'm sold on Latif right after him, and who knows? It's like the odds say somebody's going to transfer, but I don't think it's Dylan.
I'm not sold on Dylan.
Yeah, he is so freaking tight with that team.
Right here.
Yeah.
Right here. I just don't think he has the processing to be at this level to be fast.
Yeah, but I love
either that or it's Matt Rule's offense and Dana Holgerson's being held hostage by Matt Rule forcing him, just like Brian Ferenz. Does anybody ever think about Brian Ferenz and what his father did
I try
to him?
not to.
Yeah, I thought about
making
it a lot,
him offensive coordinator and saying, "Oh no, you can only call these 4 plays. Just spin a wheel."
Really, we just need for 1 more year to get to the Taylor experience, and that's all I'm waiting for.
Yeah, the Trey Taylor.
He's got all of the playbooks that we currently run. He's going through them all the time, and that's not normal. That's not normal for a junior. That's not normal for a lot of high school recruits.
No,
so, even if we decide to fire Holgerson, if we would do that, which is ridiculous, but
yeah,
even if we did that, he's still going through all these plays as a high schooler, learning coverages and learning reads, first of all, which is Martinez couldn't do that his first year. He was running around winning 6 games with not being able to read a defense to throw.
Taylor,
Adrian.
Okay.
Nebraska leads Winthrop 72-64 with 2:46 left.
Perfect. Let's see. I'm gonna let me find a comment.
I am trying to stay the hell away from any basketball this season.
I just saw the Von Raschke claw comment. Let's see.
How do you ignore your comment?
He was going anywhere.
I don't know. I've got you two in here. Normally, I've got this all blocked out, and let's freeze here. And you know what made me do that? If I wish Betty was still on here, was I had Minnie on once, and she just interrupted me all night with comments. And after that, just because of that, I was like, okay, I am blocking out sections, and we'll hit comments, cover this, hit comments, cover this. But it's Hate Iowa week, and we haven't really gotten to hating Iowa that much yet. We're just back to hating Nebraska.
Many says Holgerson isn't going anywhere. I will say
that he was going anywhere.
If he is in a position where Matt Rule's making him run this offense, I would leave if I was him. So there you go.
I like this one just to take it out on Texas again. It's interesting how poorly Texas did again this year. They had the pieces on paper again, and last year they showed flashes of the real deal. Well, that's what they always show, flashes of the real deal. No, but this was, somebody pointed this out, and it was 2 years ago, and they both made the playoff last year, which is something they didn't normally do. It had to go to 12 teams. And when in Notre Dame was famous for making like the BCS playoff or New Year's Day bowls, and the average spread of those games for Notre Dame was minus like 19. Like they would go to these bowl games that they were only in because they're Notre Dame, and boom, get their ass kicked and blown out of there. And then Texas is number 1. Notre Dame's like 4th in this. Texas is number 1 for like the last 25 years of average spots behind their preseason rate ranking that they finish. So basically the most overrated team. And a Texas guy tried to fight me on it once, and it was hilarious because he was like, no, because here it is. It shows that Texas, this last 3 seasons, covered the most point spreads. I'm like, I don't give a shit about their point spreads. This is just they're picked number 2 to start the season. They finished number 15, and they were like a 1-3 team this year, and not going to be that. They're going to be the team that Greg Sankey's going to do the shit he does every year, where it's like this 3-loss team belongs.
Right.
I'm like, because they got blown out by Georgia by 25, or because they needed overtime to beat shitty Mississippi State, or had to come back against somebody else with a 3-9 record. But you're going to talk about like the one. There was a one good win in there somewhere, I think, but I can't remember. And here's the thing: I'm absolutely convinced they're going to beat A&M, because that's going to give Sankey, that's going to be his guns up to put him in the playoff, because they just beat the number 2 team in the country. And it's like, yeah, but yeah. Anyway,
Texas has to play in a real conference now. That's their problem. And they have the same problem that James Franklin had at Penn State with Sark.
Hey, John,
are they really going to be? Are they really going to? Are they going to win the big games? Yes, Andy.
What in the hell is this about? John, liked your Texas A&M video. Very respectful.
Okay, I
You're
have
about
the
to get booted off the freaking stage.
I have a history channel. Texas. I have a history channel on YouTube. I did a Texas versus Texas A&M video, and a lot of it was centered around the bonfire tragedy in 1999 that 12 ex-Texas A&M Aggie students were killed when that collapsed, if you remember that.
Oh, I actually kind of do. Yeah, my dad's dad went to A&M. Just to remind us, Fred's in our universe. Andy said 69. Thank you, Fred. Let's see. There's Fred. Nebraska leads Winthrop by 3 points with only 2 minutes left. What happened? We were up by 8.
They had a 3.
Okay, I just had an Apple alert. Their O-line is better.
I'm looking at Stats broadcast now. We missed a layup. Okay. They hit 5 in a row, and we missed a layup.
Gotcha.
They're on an 8-0 run over the last minute and 17 seconds. Winthrop
Let's see.
is.
Yep, here you go. Here's a Fred pick for you. Some nut gross. Early prediction: Gronowski will hit 2 to 3 wide open guys on big plays and bust at least one back-breaking scramble. The Iowa just enough bullshit. So that's kind of what you were saying, right, John?
Yeah. I mean, it's. I want to say it's Jedi powers, but that would be good, right? I don't think they're good. I think they have we're in league with the devil powers.
I mean, that's like Darian Hagan stuff. Because Darian Hagan at Colorado, he'd finished the game 4 of 9 for 112 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Wait a minute.
Just out of nowhere.
Gary Pierce says our recruiting was severely damaged by joining the Ohio State-Michigan lead. We don't have a problem with recruiting.
I think we're years beyond being able to use that. Yeah, because what it did was it hurt our it hurt the Texas recruiting.
I know.
But
we out-recruited the Big Ten West for 10 years. Our problem was coaching. It was never recruiting. Yeah. The whole losing the Texas pipeline is a thing that continues to this day. It's a fallacy. We have had good players. We have not had good coaches.
Okay, well, just because I don't know what the it's a tripod was about for Minnie, but she says, now let's talk trash, please. So, folks, we'll keep yapping here, but I'm going to start searching out the Iowa stuff, because these pieces of shit cannot go untainted by our foul language tonight, or at least our foul jokes.
Okay, Iowa beat the living shit out of Minnesota. Did you watch that game?
No, because that's Big Ten shit.
Okay,
that sounds like the most boring game in the history of
I live in a house with a Minnesota alum, so I watch a lot of Minnesota football.
Well, you live in Minnesota.
Everybody pointed to that game and said, "Oh, look, Iowa beat the crap out of Minnesota, and Minnesota beat us up, and we're going to lose." Okay, here's what happened in the Iowa-Minnesota game. Number one, it was on the road. Minnesota can't win on the road and doesn't lose at home. Number two, the game was over in the first 6 minutes. Iowa drove on their opening drive, made a touchdown. Then they got a field goal. They were up by 10. Minnesota threw a pick 6, all in the first 5-6 minutes of that game. The rest of that game was Iowa scoring 41 points because Kirk Ferentz hates PJ Fleck. It literally hates him. And
I understand that.
PJ Fleck kicked the field goal so he wouldn't be shut out because he fucking hates Kirk Ferentz. That's what happened in that game. So it wasn't like, oh my God, we're going to get destroyed by Iowa because they killed Minnesota. So if you're thinking that way, don't think that way.
And to paraphrase Bain, Iowa was born in the dark. Minnesota just merely adapted to it.
That's a find.
Oh, come on.
That's very good. Okay, 20 seconds left. Nebraska's up 76-69. I said 69.
Okay, feeling better.
Nebraska is 7 of the last 9 on field goals. So there you go.
I'm at 76-71.
Okay. Here, let's see. Too slow on the pick sometimes. Nebraska will always be a 6 or 7 win team because this was the easiest schedule we could get and still can't get it done. Well, because next year
maybe he'll be right. Maybe we should learn to exist as a being just slightly above average.
Well, that I actually, and it's like I sent in my poll question today, and my first one is like without the and you did a good. You're the one that did the article on that on the Kurt Signetti effect, and so I asked, without the Kurt Signetti effect, are people still freaking out in a season where I think already have clinched that even if we lose these next 2, that I guess that would be another 7-6 year, but regular season wise, it is going to represent 3 years of improvement, slow improvement, but improvement, and literally better than anything anyone's done since Bo Pelini. Would people still be freaking out, or is our fan base, I shouldn't say all of them, but is there that chunk of that fan base that thinks somewhere out there is our Kurt Signetti? And let's just pull the plug on the Matt Rule thing right now after we extended him. And
well, we do have a problem with our society about comparisons and driving ourselves into anxiety because we compare ourselves always to people that are above us, never to typically people that are below us. To address Adam Michael Fellows 8743's thing about Nebraska will always be a 6 or 7 win team because this is the easy schedule we can get and still can't get it done. I'd say it's a mixture of roster, coaching, and time. You know what I mean? Right now, do we know if I think Matt Rule is a good coach. Is he a great coach? No, he hasn't proved that yet. He's great at rebuilding programs. He's done that twice. And as far as him being at Nebraska, what he's done at Nebraska, for you people that don't think he's improved anything, is he's wiped the shit off the program that Scott Frost left all over it. Okay? We don't have to sit at a football game.
Riley.
We don't have to come into the Iowa game and see fucking graphics that say Nebraska hasn't had a winning season since 2018 or some goddamn thing. Nebraska hasn't been to a bowl game since 2004. We don't have to see those things anymore. That's what Matt Rule has done for us. Can he get us from good to great? Well, that's what we're going to find out in the next year. Probably. Are we going to stay at 6 or 7 win teams? A lot of that has to do with how well you develop the roster, the coaches you hire around you, your willingness to change. I made the point in the video I did today about Iowa, them bastards, that Kirk Ferentz is a good coach. He's not a great coach. He's not. He's great because he stuck around for so long. He literally has stubbornly refused to become great because he won't change. If he changed his offense to be a modern offense or do something to actually try to score, he'd be a great coach. But he's not.
No.
So is Matt Rule going to make those changes? He's already shown that he's willing to do that in the past. So, who's going to be the coaches with us next year? We don't know that yet. We're going to find out in the next few months.
Yeah.
And the reason that everyone knows Kurt Signetti's name and Indiana is because this never happens. It's a 1 out of 8 million thing that happens like that.
It's never happened.
Yeah.
That has literally never happened. I mean, he took a team. What did they win? Because everybody went. I remember the dumbest preseason article I read. I was done at the title, and it was like, who is this year's Indiana? And this guy goes, I think it's Illinois. And I'm like, the team that freaking won 9 or 10 games and went to a bowl game what are they going to do? Win 38 games in a 13-game season? That was the dumbest thing I heard. It's like, no, you got to go find a 1 or 2 win team, and then tell me, hey, they've just hired somebody from 1AA, or I guess Madison was in Division I, but whatever, a team like a guy from a coach down there, and then he does that again because it wasn't going to happen. And it's crazy for people to think that boosters are the worst, because this was the reason for just the slate of firings before. It was a record for firings before November. There was something like 12 firings, and the most there'd ever been before was 5. But I guarantee you that's the reason. It is butthurt boosters lose one big game, freak out, and then that guy's fired.
Yeah, I think the amount of coaches that have been fired this year is a little nuts.
Yeah,
Like
it's
we'll
settled
see
down
if
now.
we'll see if Penn
down.
State regrets firing James Franklin, but I think
they look like the total losers now.
I think the thing is
Virginia Tech.
after you've been aware, what is that line? Familiarity brings contempt or whatever. Okay, forget it. He stayed around too long.
I think they might have been regretting it a little when all their recruits were in Virginia Tech last weekend.
Oh, that's yeah.
What a horrible result too. Is they fire him and then he just goes a little ways away, and so all the guys he had coming into Penn State, he's like, oh, come on, if you really liked me, come on down. And the fact that a bunch of them did probably doesn't bode well. I think that's really a great hire by Virginia Tech.
What's the difference between Happy Valley and Blacksburg? Nothing.
Yeah, not much. Bet cooler intro in Blacksburg. I still have that on the bucket list.
I think there were more mine disasters historically in Blacksburg.
So did John popped up there? I think
I did. Nebraska wins.
Hold off Winthrop. Yeah, and
the women are about to win. The women are 20 seconds left, up 88-79 over Virginia.
Nice. Maybe we should just leave football at 6 or 7 wins and start making all our other sports good.
Husker basketball is undefeated right now.
Because I will say this. Fred Hoiberg, if you voted for a coach that looked at Nebraska's entire roster up and down, you'd go, who does the most with the least? It's got to be Fred.
Well, I tell you, what Fred did there was, remember his first 3 years when they're just bottom of the conference, and they've got a new all-star amazing recruiting class every year. And then he flipped to, let's try to find a guy that can shoot. It was the old Doc Sadler program where he couldn't get the shooter. But he said you need your great player scoring type, which last year would have been Bryce. You need your effective big man and got Rink, and you need somebody that can bomb threes. Putting it simply, and everybody else just has to be tough as shit and play defense like crazy. And that's he's just kind of gone with hard-nosed freaking guys that.
Speaking of bombing threes, Mast had 7 of them tonight.
Yeah. Wow. I always joke that Mass is the only guy who shoots better from 3-point than from inside 3 feet. he'll do an occasional me-bound rally and miss 3 or 4 putbacks. He doesn't have horrible shooting percentages. Every now and then he does it. He'll not be able to just tap one in after hitting 3 threes in a row. Yeah.
Okay. Mike Schuster, 5376 says the question is, why can't anyone else do the Signetti effect? What do you think, Aaron?
It's a once in an $8 million thing. Everything lined up perfectly because it's hard
to go to a team that literally his first year he won 10 games and set a school record. So you have to be willing to go to a team that's just perennially in a pile of shit. I mean, right? Because that's not easy to do. If it was, how many times would Indiana, Vanderbilt, who's having, now they're successful, but they didn't jump into the playoff after 1 year after being 1-11 or something like that. But how many of these just perennially lousy schools and P5 conferences has this ever happened? Why can't it happen? Well, I guess because you have to have, a sneaky bit of talent there. You have to be coming to a school where you can drag all your best players. And you also have to be the kind of coach who's been in the game forever. And as he put it at that first Big Ten Media Days, I don't lose. I've never lost. The only time I got picked to finish last in my conference, and one of them I played in the conference championship game, and the other time I finished third and just missed the conference championship game. So he goes, so I don't ever, and he was just very adamant, I don't ever finish last.
I think the big thing about this is it's a perception issue as much as anything. There's the number of teams that have been historically bad at football as Indiana is also extremely low. And Indiana is probably, I think, one or two. Now I'm echoing again. So what'd you change, Andy?
I haven't touched. The only thing I did was about 45 minutes. I turned the volume on my laptop down since it was coming out of there again.
Okay. Now I'm
So
not echoing. Huh. Okay. Indiana literally is like down there with Kansas State is one of the worst programs of all time. So the jump for them is perceptively even a huger thing. You know, if Cignetti went to LSU, if he went to Texas A&M, that's probably not a best choice. Ohio State, someplace like that, it wouldn't have made a big impact. But he went to Indiana, a typically historically horrible program. You know,
Well, they're following the K-State
that's
model
the perception.
One thing I like here is how Schuster put like 4 question marks after it, because now I'm hearing it asked in that booster voice that Texas A&M, you know, a few years ago. That look, it's like Trev Alberts. Look, it looks right now like he made a hell of a hire there. I mean, it's season 1, but
yeah,
this is new ground for Texas A&M.
Let me ask you this:
LSU boosters are yelling that question. Why can't we have a Kurt Cignetti? Get Kelly out of here, and Florida's yelling it, and who's Penn State going to get at this point?
What was Colorado's record in the 10 years before Dion arrived?
Oh, more than that even. It was lousy. It was like
you know what I mean?
A 400 winning percentage.
Yeah, they won maybe 3 games a year.
Yeah,
and then they had his first or second year. They won 9 games, maybe
both of them put together.
When Shadir, when the year
Dion went like 4-8 that first year.
Yeah, but the year after he had a good year.
Did he have did he win 8 the next year?
Something like that.
And now he's back to 3-8 or whatever.
Well, yeah, but
I was gonna say now ask how many he's won this year.
Yeah, he's Mike Riley.
You know, the point is he had a turn. He had a turnaround, but nobody looked at him.
No, he's Mike Riley, John. He bookended like an 8-4 season or an 8-5 season with the bowl game with 4-8 and what's either going to be 4-8 or 3-9. That's what Mike Riley did. He didn't build shit.
Okay, for you guys in the comments section, did we answer your Indiana question?
The why can't anyone do the Cignetti?
It's a perception thing as much as it is success.
Yeah.
You know? All right.
Well, let's see.
Here's this one. I picked this one.
Okay, go.
Texas should be given back to Mexico. You know, when I was in Nebraska as a student in the early 80s, well, I was there for most of the 80s, actually, because I spent 7 years there. I ran for student body president as president of the Scum Party, and one of my main platforms was we were going to give, if I got elected, I was going to give Texas back to Mexico. There you go. And I had a guy come up to me at one of our parties at our house, and he goes, "My parents live in Texas. I don't want you giving their land to Mexico." And I said, "Well, make your parents' house the embassy, and it will be American soil." And there you go.
That's right. Well, here's one. I want to talk about Herbs and what he did when he went to a new place. Yeah, Florida and Ohio State weren't really in the program's like in a position needing to be saved from like 2-10 seasons.
Right.
So, it's like, I get it. If you're a Florida or Ohio State fan in your world, it feels like that. But not to say that Herbs wasn't a good coach, but yeah, he didn't pick the toughest assignments there. Let's see.
I put that
perennial top 10 recruiting guys.
Yeah. Well, Indiana went out. Well, does winning out including beating Ohio State in the title game? They're going to win out the regular season.
I take Indiana win out as in win the national title.
Yeah, so I don't see that. I'm curious. Now, the game I will watch is the Ohio State game because that's going to be the measuring stick. And Ohio State's defense, I think they were saying that's like one of the toughest defense since they compared it to Georgia in 21 when they gave up maybe a little bit like a 1/10 of a point less or something. But yeah, they're both giving up like single digits, which is kind of gone by the wayside in the offensive era. So we'll see. Indiana. I mean, Penn State gave Indiana a game. That might be the best catch I've seen in college football this year.
Yeah,
because I literally thought the way his body was going, and it already seems like it's out of the end zone. It's just there's no way to your body's going. There's no way to stop your feet physically, and then there was, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe.
What will happen if Indiana wins the national title?
Oh God.
Yeah.
Coaches will be lucky to keep their jobs
Yeah.
for 2
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
They'll have
Yeah.
to be.
You know
They
what'll
will have to
happen?
be in
More
the playoff
chaos.
and win a game in
I like
their
chaos.
first 2 years, or they're gone. It would be
The thing about
insane.
chaos with me is if my team isn't going to be able to win anything, I'm such an angry, bitter, miserable, dead inside person. I want everybody else to experience chaos and pain too, because I'm a sharing person like that. So I
I've
think it would be.
gotten-
I think will Indiana win out? I kind of hope so, just to see. College football historically has always been the dumbest sport in history. It since its inception. I mean,
Yeah.
it's never been structured well. All of our entire postseason is based on the idea that we needed to get people in cold places to go to warm places to have vacations. And now
What
it's
about
not even
skiing?
any better with the playoff. And Indiana winning the national title would make all the stress in this just make it even more insane and stupid. And I think
Yeah,
we
see,
deserve it. We deserve it.
I enjoy a good chaos,
Yeah.
as long as it's not hurting the Huskers, and they don't need to worry about that right now. I've gotten much better at being able to flip it over really quick and enjoy the rest of the night, the day, my life, or whatever after the gut punch losses. So it's like, and I got a lot of practice. And the crack day was Northwestern and Dublin, because I didn't realize that Frost had just checked out mentally after the 3-9 season. I think that psychologically really damaged the guy. You never heard about him doing anything in recruiting that summer. And then he just shows up with just the whole team fucking listless. And all it took was like 2 weeks of Mickey Joseph for him to be trying again. But what I did after that game, that Northwestern game ends, I just you know what, give me my tab. And I went home and I was dog sitting, and I've still got this one here because I showed this one off about 3 or 4 weeks ago when Coco, I was doing the pod, and I was watching Coco here, who's just this wonderful little goofy mini Aussie, mini shepherd. And I had her that weekend. I just went home, let her outside to pee, and then we just sat on the porch and played ball for about an hour. And it was just the most fun because she's just this twitchy little fun dog.
Are you sure that's what it was? She was just twitchy and fun because she looks like that photo. She looks in that photo like she's being held hostage.
I've babysat that dog plenty. She's always a riot. And so, because here's what she did during the pod is she's messing around at my feet. There's a table right behind where I've got the thing set up, and she's down there and she's like knocking piles of books over that I've got the bottom of this table. And I'm trying to pick those up, and then she's just going under my legs. And then she finally just jumped on the couch and just stuck her face in my face. And that look on her face is normally she's just like the smiling happy dog. And that's the look that says, this is fucking unacceptable. I want your attention. And so I just kind of had to sit there and pet her until it was like, shit, there's a treat bag in reach. Here we go. Here's a chewing. Fuck off for 20 more minutes. No, but yeah, that dog literally made the post Northwestern. We've had more than one since then. Got 3 more straight Iowa ones, and I just don't lose it like I used to. The most I yelled during the Penn State game was when we got stuffed on that fourth and 1 on the goal. But after the game,
I can tell you this: at halftime, I was the only one in my living room.
Everybody else just
my wife and my son I said I'm just gonna go into where I am now, my room. I'm just gonna watch on YouTube TV, and that will be it, and I won't be like they killing the plants with anger,
Hey, I've been tempted a few times, but ever since I started writing those recap, like the game recaps, I'm stuck, man. I gotta watch. Yeah. I watched all of 56-7, baby. I think that's the one I had completely. The only one I've ever had completely done before the final gun.
Last year
anything
against
going to happen in
Indiana?
that fourth quarter that was going to be, unless somebody got killed on the field. All right, I got a question for you, John.
Yes.
How I can see where you starred comments.
Yes.
How do you star a comment? I don't see that option.
You scroll. You go to the far right on the comment in the studio, and then a star will appear.
Oh, if you just, I'm not.
See, if
When
you
I go
hover
far
over
right, I
the
just
if
see
you
the three
hover over
dots.
the comment,
Yeah.
you see 3 dots, and to the right of that should be a star.
I don't have anything to the right of the three dots. That's
Okay,
very
if you don't, then your browser's set in like the wrong light or dark mode, I'm guessing.
okay. I'll figure it out later. I was curious though, because I thought I remember being able to do that like the first time I came on your show. I'm sure nobody gives a shit about that. What else do we have here?
Well, we got Joel Tilson's coming up with all the questions.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he's a good one. Well, he also watched what I was just saying. Good dog. She is a ball. Let's see. Oh God, was it? Frost should not have been on the plane back from Dublin. Well,
He shouldn't have.
would anybody, with the rumors that were going around about him, would anybody have been shocked if he like missed the flight and they found him in a bar?
No.
No, just from what was being said.
pub,
then,
you mean?
I mean, it was
Yeah.
the women, the cocaine, the only one I truly believed 100% was the golf machine. I could totally see him like bringing his boys in to play a little golf. But yeah, 24. No, Joel Tilson, absolutely not. That disappeared, jumped on me after that. Joel Tilson had one that he went 24 teams for the playoff. No.
Yeah,
12,
I think you know what? I disagree with that.
Yeah, I'm good with 12.
It's going to change in 2 years.
I think it's gonna settle on 16. Otherwise, there's just no reason to have a regular season.
Well, there's 2 things going on.
Unless you want to try and drop a game of the regular season, then every school freaks out because it's like, well, right now it's only literally possible for about 30 or 40 teams to have a shot at the national championship. So
Well, here's
now you
the
want
thing.
to take more money off our table. So they're not going to be able to take a regular season game away or two, just to have a playoff going into March.
You got the Big Ten talking about a 24-team playoff.
Yeah.
Okay. You got the SEC talking about a 16-team playoff.
Yeah. When did
And
the Big Ten talk about a 24 game?
They've been doing presentations on it and stuff like that.
I hadn't heard that.
Okay. But what this does is by the Big Ten saying 24 and the SEC saying 16 is it makes the 16 proposal look that much better. It doesn't suddenly look insane. And
Okay.
here's the problem that you think with the 12 team, we think it's okay with the 12 team playoff. Okay,
No,
wait about 3 years of this.
Mm-hmm.
And what is going to happen is that you're going to have like only the 12 teams that are going to get into the playoffs are going to get any coverage. They're going to win all the awards. Everybody else is going to get left out of this. And while ratings are high, I believe that the long term of this is it's going to really, everybody else is just going to go, I don't fucking care anymore. And they're not going to watch college football. And you're going to be able to bring that back by having 24 teams because everybody wants their team to have some hope or some shot at something.
Yeah.
So I think in 2 or 3 years, it's going to look, we're suddenly going to be going, well, we need to expand to 24 team.
Yeah.
I don't think they're crazy. I think they're
money.
crazy right now, but in 3-4 years, they might look like geniuses.
No, you're what you've described is the South Park movie. Because I don't know if you ever saw that original South Park
I don't remember
movie,
it.
but there's just shit in there where you're going, how do they allow this? This is where where Saddam Hussein was having sex with the devil and all kinds of things.
Right.
And they said, well, here's what we were told. And this story that I'd heard plenty is they said, if you're making a movie that's you're going to be like a Quentin Tarantino or some action, gross blood or graphic sex, they said, you put in some scenes, you film some scenes and put them into the cut you send to the MPAA that they're going to be going, oh my God, no, this is X. And then you take out the scenes that you never wanted to use anyway.
Right.
And then you get your hard R.
Right.
And they said, well, South Park, they said they just went crazy doing that, put all this shit in there. And the MPA went, good to go. So they're like, I guess we're leaving it then. That's one of the funniest things I ever heard. They said, I guess they figured it wasn't as bad because it's in a cartoon form. And so that's what you're saying is like, let's go 24. And then they'll say 16. That's just 4 more. That's not a big deal. Because it's like what the NFL's never thought about. I think the only thing I'd compare it to is before they started expanding a bunch in the 90s, the NHL had 21 teams and 16 teams went to the playoffs. So basically only 5 teams were out of the playoffs. and Detroit, now it's known as what a run they had before that. Before they got Steve Eisman, they literally missed the playoffs something like 10 straight years, where only 5 don't get in. Yeah, you would have like the one time in the finals, the North Stars, back in the Minnesota days, they made it to the final. They were the 8th seed in the West and made it to the finals against the Pittsburgh Penguins and Mario Lemieux. And their record, they were like 15 games under 500 that season. They were like the worst team that made it in, and they got bounced in 4. But I guess funky things can happen. But
if they do that, they will have to have on-campus games for most of it.
Yeah,
and that'll be a big thing for people because they'll still want more money. And there's nothing like making money like having an on-campus football league. Who said?
I don't know where this started, but what they were talking about. But you may be right. John may be crazy.
Isn't that the words to a song?
Yeah, that's
You may be right, or may be crazy.
Yeah, that's
a Billy Joel song, isn't it?
He's loopy as hell. Let's see. I just saw one. Yeah, Division 2. They got 24. I thought they stayed at 16. Well, we don't need to be Division 2, 3, and FCS. That's
why
nuts.
not?
Yeah,
24. Yeah, I don't want to see. I mean, one of the things I always liked that you would never see.
Who hates March Madness?
And I've changed my thinking on it a lot. But I always like the 2-team or the 4-team. But back when it was just like one title game, I didn't care about number 3 because at least anybody that wants to watch a college football playoff game, like for the title, can muster together the money for one trip. And it's like now it's going to be, if you're going to make at least now they're playing like 12 teams and they put some in the home fields. But you're going to have to have the kind of money if you want to go to all of them where you got to make 3 trips for the and with the expensive tickets and the hotel gouging and all that. And
do you know how many Division 2 football teams there are?
Division 2, I don't know, 50. How many?
50.
41.
There are 161
in Division 2.
Let's see, Division 2, yeah. How many Division 3 teams do you think there are?
Well, see now I'm lost because I thought it was going to
6.3 billion.
Yes, probably
1,247.
Come on, guess. How many Division 3 teams are there?
94.
No.
23.
My God, what the hell?
200.
You're closer.
What is it?
200
without going over.
240.
Yes.
Okay, maybe 24
I'm in the
works
showcase.
there.
So, it makes sense for them. 160 teams, 240 teams. It make 2014 playoffs make perfect sense for them. And they don't have bowl games and they play on-campus games.
We'll take this very strongly into consideration when expanding Division 1. Division 1 ain't going up. It's going to end up anywhere. I say anywhere from like 35 to 55 teams. You're going to get the Super League.
I don't know about
It's
that.
happening. It's happening inside 5 years. Yeah.
Well, why it can't happen?
I want the relegation model.
Yeah. It's just because sooner, like I said, there's only about 40 teams with a chance, and then you just
it's probably about 12.
It's the only place it's going, and then you can have like your 40, say you're 45, go to your 16 team playoff, and then it's kind of it's like NFL-ish, and now then you are going to throw away the last vestiges. I mean, Dana was bitching today. I mean, not bitching like this is ruining my life, but he was saying kind of how it's cool that you got this Nebraska-Iowa rivalry, because he goes, there's places where these rivalries are dying out because of conference realignments and all that. You don't have the backyard brawl anymore. I guess now you got Texas, Oklahoma, and Texas A&M again. But you started losing some of these rivalries, like Nebraska, Oklahoma went away. Nebraska, Colorado basically went away. Because we're not going to play them every time. And
this is the 15th year we've played Iowa on Black Friday. Do you know how many times we played Colorado?
I got all that. This is our.
What did you say, Aaron?
So this is the 15th time
Black Friday. I think
we've played
30
Iowa
36.
on Black Friday.
Yeah.
How many times do we play Colorado?
We played Oklahoma from 90 to 95, Colorado from 96 to 2010, and then Iowa ever since then.
Was it 96 to 2010? I didn't think it was that many.
Yeah. Well, because 2010, like we joined the Big Ten or whatever. And then, hey, two more fun stats. Emmett now is the first Big Ten running back since 2017 to run for 1,200 yards and have 40 receptions. And the last two were Justin Jackson of Northwestern and Saquon Barkley.
That's good company.
And Emmett's, then I just got angry and didn't finish it out. I was like, Emmett's not a Doak finalist. He's fourth in rushing. That's like, who is a Doak finalist is Kewan Lacey.
Right.
Ring a bell?
Yeah.
I believe he was a decommit.
So, By More Monero asks, as a non-Nebraska native, why the Iowa hate? They never seemed worth the rivalry. They're not even good at football. Why do you guys think that? In the comments, answer this guy's question.
Yeah.
Why
just going back to last year, they put armed guards at their logo. They're going to shoot us for going to take a knee on their logo?
Yeah, a few of us wandered on there, and I'm sure these guys were just like, I can't believe I got to do this shit. Yeah, no, somebody actually went to me, and because they're okay. Yeah, let's have some fun with these jerks. I mean, it was like John was saying in his article. They wave at the kids at the hospital and think that erases all the stupid and horrible shit they do. Well, okay, so somebody comes back at me after like the post yesterday, and I said something shitty about Iowa, and they're like, "Well, hey, why don't you suggest a coach rule that he respect his father and shake hands this year?" And I said, you know what? It is like, you will be welcomed with open arms. I'm not touching you because, touching Iowa people is gross. But, I said, and if your boys would like to say a prayer on our very durable artificial turf logo at midfield, we will not surround it with armed troopers. And like, didn't get a response to that. It's like, no, in your mind, we just didn't shake hands and we're just la, 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 la. We didn't put armed guards around the logo because everybody's so afraid of their logo being preyed on. And I'm not religious at all, but it's like, for Christ's sake.
I would say why the Iowa hate. I'd point out that everybody hates them.
Yeah.
Literally everybody in the Big Ten hates Iowa.
Both USC and Oregon played them this year, and just were like, these guys are
found
shitheads.
out real quick why
not
everyone hates Iowa.
Yeah. Fire in.
And because they seem to just be a miserable fan base overall. Yeah. I know a lot of Iowa fans that are fine and stuff like that.
I do too.
But when we get together in groups, we tend to gravitate toward a philosophy. Put it this way. In Nebraska Stadium, there's signs outside the stadium when you walk in, and what do they say?
Oh shit! I wish.
Through these gates, not on the gate. Through these gates, past the greatest fans of college football. Okay, that is not a celebration of our fanhood. That is a reminder for you to act like a decent fan. That's what that is. Yeah. It's like basically saying, don't throw shit at the players on the field like Iowa did when Oregon won. Oh. And their players came over and they threw beer at them and stuff. That's what that sign is. It's a reminder to people that we have a certain standard of fanhood that we want to uphold. And Iowa just okay. You think it's a celebration of fanhood?
We managed not to throw shit. Well, okay, except the occasional frozen orange in the 70s.
Well, that was years ago.
But we managed not to lose our minds for years without that sign. That sign, if I'm a visiting fan, to me is just what a bunch of arrogant pricks. Because here's the thing, everybody was saying it anyway after trips to Nebraska long before. Because remember, we used to have it on the gates where you saw it on TV every time the team ran on the field. I'm glad they took that shit down. But yeah, it's still out there. And that's what I thought. It's like everyone says this anyway. When we're putting it up there, it's like we're pushing it in your face and going, hey, baby, by the way, you're going to be sitting with the finest fans in college football today. I think it comes off as arrogant and cocky, and I don't like it.
See, I get why people think that, but I think it is actually a reminder to people that, there's a certain standard that you have to uphold. And I think by and large,
get rid of a problem that doesn't exist.
I think maybe, but it's still, we still, even though we've sucked for years, we don't throw stuff on the field.
No.
You get a fair amount of razzing for Nebraska fans. Remember when Keith Duncan ran down the field, woo, 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 after he blowing kisses to the crowd. I think people got upset by that.
Can we
Yeah,
trust him?
I
He's a
think people
dick.
got upset by that, but
The
on the
kicker.
other hand, I don't think everybody went nuts. You know, we're in
Keith-
Iowa.
Keith Duncan?
Yeah, what did I say?
No, you did. I don't remember Keith. You said he was a kicker?
Yeah,
As
2019.
Peyton Manning would say, the idiot kicker.
The idiot kicker.
He kicked the game winner, and I think it was 2019.
That was his
Then
own
he ran
Colts
down the
kicker.
field, you know, waving to the crowd and
Oh.
blowing kisses to Nebraska fans and
Grabbing his dick.
showing off.
Who are those kickers for Kansas State that love to run and taunt the other sideline in the crowd? And one of them and then one of them blew out a knee doing it, and it was one of my happiest days. No,
Bill and
what were their last
Grammatica.
names? Because there was brothers.
Grammatica.
And then one of the Grammaticas was doing it and running around, and then snapped his ACL or blew his ACL out, and it was done for like a year and a half. It was so I loved it. I don't
That
love
family's
injuries,
story
but I
was
like
crazy though.
shitheads. Right, what do you got here?
All the training those guys did.
Didn't the game between Minnesota and Nebraska 2 years ago end with both fan bases ending chanting, "Who hates Iowa? We hate Iowa"? Yes, it did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it did. I was part of that, and that's the thing. Everybody hates Iowa. They do.
Oh.
You know.
Like
That's how I
this year,
greet every Minnesota fan when I go up there.
you get Oregon that goes to Iowa, and they go over to just basically like cheer some with the group of their fans in the end zone there, and Iowa fans start throwing shit at them, and then they're online. USC was having so much fun trolling them, and they were just raging back, and then both USC and Oregon were both like putting up signs and posts going, Nebraska has better corn than Iowa, and Iowa fans were getting mad. Well,
High Mountain guy says Minnesota definitely hates Iowa more.
Oh.
That one even seems more hateful. A few years ago, I got the chance to shoot, photography, the Big Ten wrestling tournament here in Minnesota. And it was a great time. I mean, Gable Stevenson from Minnesota was absolutely amazing. The wrestling and the competition.
Yeah.
The Minnesota crowd, whenever anything bad happened to an Iowa wrestler, they went insane. It was so wonderful to be around. And, the craziness of how much the crowd was just, the Iowa wrestler lost. They all taunted the hell out of him. It was wonderful.
Yeah, I remember one year we had this cop Pete that would come to a lot of games at Tigers and stuff. Super nice guy. Unfortunately, he had now ex-wife, thank goodness, who would come with him, and she was a monstrous Iowa fan, and she's one that just loved to. She's one of those people who just shrieks instead of talks in the bar. And then times 10 for Iowa. And I was always feeling lucky that I didn't have to be there for Iowa games when she was still coming, because she would have people like literally wanting to hit women, and you can't do it. It was that Sam Kennison line. I don't condone hitting women. I understand it. He's like, I'd never say to hit a woman, but I know what turns Mr. Hand into Mr. Fist. And it's just jokes. But yeah, you could feel that churning in your brain, and there'd just be Pete and he got divorced, and he just grew the biggest smile after that. But yeah, that's the Iowa fan effect. Here you go. True stories about Iowa fans.
Gary Pierce,
any of that up.
Gary Pierce says, I don't hate Iowa at all. It's like meh, another meaningless game. You know what, Gary, join us.
Yeah, just embrace the hate.
Join us in hating Iowa. Come on, man. I mean, this is fun unless you take it too seriously, and then it becomes real hate, and then it's not fun. And then you are actually burning witches, and that's what happens to society. It goes to hell. If you just have sports hate and it's kind of fun, then there you go.
That's all sports is about. Sports is about hate. All
right, I'm playing with High Mountain guy here. What did? Oh, come on. There we go. What did the five fingers say to the face? Charlie Murphy. If you know, you know.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
That's still that is still one of just the best freaking gifts to use ever. Slap. Iowa. Oh, the most boring rivalry. There are no stakes. The fans are obtuse. See, and I disagree, because part of sometimes I get looks for this. I don't care. But so much of my love of college football is about the team, not just the teams I love. One team that's love way too much. It's unhealthy. The Huskers, not far, behind them, the Bulldogs. But after that, it's so much about the teams I just freaking hate. Oh my God. It's like we're playing Colorado. That engine in May. We haven't played them in 10 years. That engine's firing right up. The 2014 Miami game, like I said, flew back from Chicago. I had to go to Chicago Friday night, fly back Saturday afternoon, land. I've called ahead, save me a seat because I know it's going to be packed. Pop down. That game is not 3 minutes old, and grown men are red-faced yelling double guns at the bar TVs, and that was just probably the last just true screaming out of control, both anger and then in the end because I think Amir Abdullah just torched those guys for like 225 yards rushing and was not going out of bounds. And then the announcers were just like, my God, he looks like this is personal. And yeah, so and why is that? Yeah, I love Nebraska, but we finally got Miami in our house after all those years. And I don't care that it's, 20 years beyond. It literally probably was about 20 years since the, mid 90s, and like, let's get it on. And yeah, hate can make for a good time. Just don't break shit that you got to pay for later.
Gary Pierce says, I work with Iowa fans. Why do you do that, Gary?
My new boss is both an Iowa fan and a Chief fan. It's just the worst.
Oh, see that there's like the anti-Chiefs thing going. It's like we said. Sago says, "Hey, we play for a trophy. There's just never been a battle for a conference title berth. Nothing in note." See, and our trophy is still the corporate trophy, and it like Hawkeyes sponsored. My trophy, and we never win that one either. But the broken bits of chair trophy, that's the one where it's like, screw you, we're doing this with or without you.
Who is the corporate sponsor?
I think it's still IV, isn't it?
No, they backed out.
Did they switch it?
I stood right on top of the logo today at the Memorial Stadium, and I don't remember who it was.
Yeah, when we were at the game.
Made right. Do they still have those?
No, I better not tell this story. Never mind. It's about Miley and I being just absolute kindergartners so, making something dirty that wasn't supposed to be, and it involved the Heroes game. Yeah, at least they got it's like at least they didn't try to strap the military on it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just getting tired of
Pioneer.
Every other college football game I go to is just one big recruiting.
Is it Pioneer? That makes sense.
Yeah, Pioneer.
The corporate sponsors milking at each other.
All right, what else is coming up this week? Ohio State, Michigan. Texas A&M.
Texas A&M, Georgia Tech, which should be a good. That was a good game last year.
The most fun game I've ever been to is Texas versus Texas A&M. That was great.
Is it? Where at?
Down to A&M, College Station.
I think Georgia Tech's giving you your best quarterback name battle. Gunnar Stockton versus Haynes King.
We got the Iron Bowl, Alabama, Auburn, Oregon, Washington, LSU, Oklahoma. That's kind of bizarre.
That's a weird one.
Miami versus Pitt. What?
Who would Pitt would play Penn State, wouldn't they? They used to, I guess. It would not anymore.
They did, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Probably. If they both win, they're picked to meet each other in a bowl. In the one we were just at, the New York Bowl.
Isn't the Egg Bowl coming up?
Yeah, Mississippi State. Because Ole Miss's only chance to get into the SEC title game is to don't fuck it up against Mississippi State, and then both Alabama and Texas A&M have to lose.
What are we playing for?
Actually, I think Georgia's done. So. Butter churn. We're not Amish. That's more of a Pennsylvania thing. I saw a witness.
Gary, we are playing for the bitching rights for the next year. That's what we're playing for.
What was I? There was something I was just going to say, and I forgot. It's getting old sucks. Nope, I got nothing.
I think are we about done?
Yeah, that's what I was going to. Let's take one last look. Oh, here's an interesting storyline. it's just if Lane Kiffin leaves right now, how can the school that's hiring him ever freaking trust him? I mean, this is the guy that like bailed on Tennessee after a year, talked his way, took another job, and that was fine when he was offensive coordinator at Bama. But then he wanted to do the Bo Pelini stay at Bama, but I guess then he just annoyed Saban so much Saban kicked it because get lost because that was his Florida Atlantic job.
You don't trust him.
Your college football playoff. And is he going to actually leave them because right now everybody's trying to say, oh, he's already buying. They're doing the old, was it Bob Davie? Bought a place in Firethorn. Yeah. They're saying that Lane Kiffin just closed on his house in Baton Rouge and shit like that. He can't do that, can he?
If he leaves, if he leaves, he's officially a mercenary, and there's not trust involved in that. You just say, "What is it?" You have to have somebody that understands what does his ego need now.
Yeah,
in order to keep him long enough to win a national title, and then if he leaves, nobody gives a shit.
And here's the thing: Urban already laid the groundwork for it. Just fake a sickness, fake a nerve disorder, fake a brain injury. I remember when it looked like Frost's first year, I think it was, and Nebraska's tight with Ohio State late in that game, and you see him grabbing his head, and I'm like, he's going to do, because I was already talking about the brain leak, and I'm like, he's going to claim brain injury in the locker room if he loses to Nebraska, because he did like 3 or 4 times. They showed him like he had a headache or something, and then what it took was it was the brain stuff after his pervert assistant coach, abusive.
I personally don't think he's leaving. I think that he's going to announce he's saying at Ole Miss, and this will be the greatest troll job of any coach in college football history.
And who better to do it? But you know what? When it started sounding like, hey, Matt Rule to Penn State, you had people going, get Lane Kiffin back here, baby. It's like, it wouldn't be boring. But I don't know that he's dropping from a playoff level team to a Nebraska team that, now at least can have winning records, but is yet to get over the 7-win hump. I guess maybe he'd feel nowhere to go but up. Yeah, Urban claimed arthritis.
I can tell you going into these final games, I can tell you that I'm rooting for 2 teams beside us, and that's Indiana because their history is so bad. I think it would be just like a joke by God if they were winning the national title. After being so horrible for so long, and then or Texas A&M, because they also have had really good teams throughout their history, but they've only won 1 national title in 1939, or one real title. People claim shit, but you know what I mean? So it's been so long for them to actually have done this well. There's kind of the thing where people are going to go, I'm not going to root for them because of Trev Alberts. Well, I don't know, years ago, I spent some time working at Texas A&M, and I kind of, almost got killed there 2 or 3 times doing things. But I think I would like to see Texas A&M wreak havoc on the SEC because, having cadets do their weird yell shit and be at the top of the SEC, just, more chaos, more just sheer, why is this happening to people? That's what I like.
That's where all my having your own fake army.
That's where all my cousins went. So I knew Texas A&M's fight songs before I knew Nebraska's fight songs.
Wow.
Beauty.
And I still love that band. That band's the best band in the country for me to watch.
All right. Well, I tell you what, about time to wrap her up. Let's see. First of all, I like to try and remember everybody watch Monday Night Therapy with it's Minnie and Fred now.
Yeah.
Mondays at 8. If you're here with us, Huskers Happy Hour is Tuesdays at 8. And then you have the 5 Heart podcast with Minnie again and Greg. And they start at 9, correct?
Does
that sound right?
Yes.
Because I don't want to. I'd like to make sure because I'd rather get it wrong. Hey, it's 8, but I can always turn it off. But I don't want to tell them wait till 9 and then it's half over. But I think
it's 9 because sometimes I can. When I close Walgreens at 10 o'clock, I'm back in the pharmacy all by myself, and sometimes I
gotcha.
Before I finish up here, I'm just going to sit down and watch a little Minnie and Greg.
Maybe it's going to be.
Oh, and Sunday nights you have the Rover reaction thing with Greg, Haas, and Jake.
Okay. Do they do that a long time, or is that like a 10, 15-minute thing?
No, it's
No, it's
usually
about
an
an hour.
hour and a half.
They go like an hour?
Yeah, Haas does a really good job of breaking down offense stuff.
Yeah. No. Okay, cool. Thanks for reminding me there. We didn't get that much Iowa abuse in tonight. So maybe that means we truly are good people and deserve this win, and we'll be granted some win from the spirit of the Hanson brothers, let's say. Good. It's like,
Do you guys
sing
know
the fucking song.
Do you guys know how hard it is to buy live chickens?
To buy what?
Live chickens.
Oh, well, that's Major League.
No, I'm not talking about movie. Just go. Where could you buy live chickens?
Why do I care?
Because
Oh,
the sacrifice, you sons of bitches.
Yeah, that's made me a sacrifice
during the game
for
and
Major League.
plead to God. I don't know for live goats. Where can I buy some fucking goats?
That's one of the best parts of Major League, because they did what? They couldn't find a live chicken, so they just brought the bucket and said, "This is all we got, buddy." So, all right, we're getting out of here. Aaron, John, thank you so much. Love having you guys here.
I probably should show up for these more often, because I actually need people to talk to. And
I will pester you guys. It's fun. I got to be honest. It's fun not leaving dead air when I'm hitting the propel or the other stuff that's not propel. Oh God, got a goodbye Iowa. There we go. Foreplay. Yeah. I think I did this. I did this with you, I think about 4 years ago or something, and the jokes were just flying. And there's some of those. Can we say this? Oh well, we don't have any FCC watching this shit. We're
right.
fine.
Exactly.
All right. Hey, appreciate all you guys. Love you guys. Yep. See you next Tuesday. Any freaking horrible thing you can visit upon Iowa, the team, their fans, their coaches, any of that. Nothing lethal or fatal, but falling in cow shit or something that'll make them really they'll make it awkward or really disgusting for a while. Fine with that. Make that happen to them. Let's beat Iowa. And as always, we end this show with a good and hearty go Big Red. And Sacco, later fucks. Jesus. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
See you next week.